25 days ago, I was kicking around Kenya, and 18 days ago, Ben and I started a road trip in Tanzania. Late today, we crossed into Namibia.
And we are now in Namibia.
Another campsite with a waterfront view. Camp was upscale with interesting signs.
Walk long ways to get somewhere there. It's just swamps.
Looks just like another river to me.
Lots of water, but this river never reaches the ocean. That's the difference.
We'd visited a lot of waterfalls on this road trip, but I was told the Popa Falls would stand out.
So wait, how much does it cost to see the waterfalls?
$20.
Oh my god.
Namibian dollars. Can you afford that?
I can afford that. $20 to see waterfalls.
That is a serious termite problem.
Swim?
Crocodiles?
There's no crocodiles in moving water. If you find a crocodile, let me know. Crocodiles?
Help! Okay, just kidding. Let's go see the falls. The park is short one tourist. Look, that's all that's left of the last tourist that walked this trail. Ben is getting nervous. He spotted a crocodile. That's a crocodile.
It's an awful big walking stick. Some guy's got to compensate with a big stick. Ants? Popa Falls.
Okay, Popa Falls wasn't that spectacular.
Up
Now
here,
what?
Rundo, 200 kilometers, another 200 kilometers across time. And then we want to go over to coast.
Ice cubes. Don't ask me why.
Ben is looking for spare used car parts.
It's only like this high.
Another checkpoint.
Pepsi, potato chips,
That one no problem.
American food. It feels like 700 kilometers.
$700 kilometers later, Roy's $10 per night campsite.
What'd you buy? Good job. That just took one match? Oh wait, one lighter.
After a long day, Ben whips up a fire and does his precision dinner dance.
Cooking in two places at once. And there's still sausages on the braai. Is that a snake?
Yeah, I just caught it. Let's go to the bush, Livio.
Okay.
Elephants tonight in the wild.
The 800,000-year-old meteorite was found on the Hoba West Farm, not far from Grootfontein. It was discovered by chance when a farmer was plowing his fields.
Hey, got a nickel?
18% nickel. 60 tons of iron.
60 tons? Oh, then let's both do it.
Continuing our Namibia road trip on day 20, we leave the Hoba meteorite. Hey, look Ben, another Toyota. Ben lets air out of the tires as the road gets softer. I find it incredible that wildlife can exist in this harsh, dry landscape. Yet Ben tells me that the land will become drier and the animals more exotic as we work our way towards the Skeleton Coast.
1,500 meters.
The game fences keep the regions separated in case of disease and provides for anti-poaching inspections. An Oasis Lodge. Camping, please.
Huge area from Palmwag, all the way through.
This is the life. A fire and a warm beer. Before heading off-road for the next week, we will fill up. Ben shows me an old German fort converted into a lodge, a pool in the desert. It reminds me of Arizona. Our target is the turnoff to a dry river.
It's only off-road for 600 kilometers.
Let's go find the river.
It's only off-road for 600 kilometers.
At this stage, our Namibia drive leaves the road and follows a dry riverbed.
Doesn't look like much of a riverbed to me.
Very nice one.
At some point in the year, I guess it gets wet.
Let the dirt begin.
Lunchtime.
What do these guys eat and drink out here? Discovering a herd of elephants in this dry riverbed is surreal. And when one decides to head out, it's follow the leader time. A waterhole. Time for a dip, and then they're off again. And so are we. Yesterday we found a herd of elephants feeding, then swimming, and then wandering off into the dry hills. Very strange.
Giraffe bone. I'm just guessing. Okay, elephant bone. Okay, cow bone.
Time to top off the tires before leaving the riverbed. Our objective was to cross over dry high country and enter a different riverbed. It looks like the Mars rover shots. Late in the day, we drop into an adjoining riverbed and find a lone waterhole.
Tonight's camp. There's my tent, spring, which is right over there. Kitchen area, fire, spare wood. So tonight we'll see if any wild beasts show up.
Be careful what you wish for, I thought, as I ran to the car with a lion in pursuit.
He was right down here. He was down there on the flat rock. He was down at the bottom crossing over.
Ben felt brave. He had a firecracker and a machete.
I'd rather check the lion that's growling somewhere down there. See that flat rock area? He ran straight across towards this cliff. Give it a try, see if he runs out, because he's downwind from us, so he knows exactly where we are.
Now they're running.
The firecracker scared off not one, but 3 lions. It looked like one older male, a younger male, and a young female. They ran until they reached a patch of greenery. Since Ben sleeps in the car and I sleep in a tent, I was not happy about our current camp location.
What's the new plan? Because I'm not sleeping in that tent tonight with 3 lions 150 meters downwind.
Pussy. Come on.
I will admit I am a pussy then, because when he looked me in the eyes and ran towards me, the rules changed.
Eventually, Ben agreed to move to a new campsite.
An African sunrise. It seems we have an issue with predators.
What a long night, basically. First we have to change camps to come here, sit up in the dark. And of course we put the tent right next to the car, like kissing, so that if I have to escape the tent, I can go from the tent to the car.
Tell me that story, what happened?
Walking the riverbed, super nice sunset, taking some picture. I hear this growl. So, wow, super deep voice. Can that be an elephant out here? Great. Look down there and the lion stares right at me. Probably 80 meters away, 100 meters. Distance back to the car was double. So whenever I took a tiny little step back, he looked up. I waited till he looked away, took another step until he was behind a bush. And then I started running. That's when you saw me.
An antelope bouncing through the rocks. Wait, that's not an antelope. That's not an impala. That's Ben.
And you taking off with your flip-flops. Oh, a lion, great, where is it?
These are trusty flip-flops, all terrain. But I had second thoughts and went back and got shoes. And then we did the car move, which was extremely smart considering when that lion saw me and he sprinted. I was certainly glad I had running shoes on and a car nearby.
Let's go back there, see if we catch them this morning.
I agree, let's go back and watch them from the safety of the car. Surviving the lion was pure panic. I survived just because I panicked and ran away. The problem was after surviving the lion, I wanted to spoon Ben. I wanted to sleep inside the car. But Ben said there was fine print in the contract that said no spooning allowed. So the second option was to sleep in the front seat and wake up with the chiropractic bill. The third option, which Ben thought was the best, was to put the tent right next to the car. I wake up and it's raining in my tent and I think, rain. I have to get outside in lion country and put the flap on. And then I think, wait a minute, is the river gonna flood? So do I get eaten by a lion or do I drown in the river? Okay, I'll take option B. Statistically, no one has ever been eaten by a lion inside the tent. They usually drag you outside to eat you. Yesterday was Tarzan Day. I had my knife with me. I was not afraid until I saw him sprint and jump down those rocks.
Obviously, these are active lions.
South, north, west, or east?
Let's go into the ocean.
But first, let's go back to yesterday's camp to revisit those lions. This is the older lion that chased me yesterday. It is clearly intimidated by us. The younger two must be hidden in the green thicket today. It's incredible how such a large and lazy-looking creature can move so quickly. Yesterday was a lesson all about instinct. After a while, we set out to cross the open plateau. Even the smallest trace of water yields green plants.
So what is this thing?
The welwitschia, the national plant of Namibia.
It's really ugly.
This thing's probably 800 years old.
Wow! So they have flowers that are male and female on the same plant.
Yeah.
Wow! I didn't realize I signed up for the full meal package. It's high noon in the desert.
We were looking for a tiny solitary waterhole within hundreds of kilometers. Quite the signpost. How animals survive here is beyond comprehension.
Dry elephant dung and one dry elephant watering hole.
Plan B, drive south and then east until we find the dry Hoab River.
Smell that water.
Amazing in this desert, a series of sun showers. Within minutes the rain had passed and the ground was dry and dusty again. The dry sandy riverbed proved challenging. We spent the rest of the day repeating this process. But by evening we had moved into beautiful dunes.
Perfect, huh?
Perfect.
You having problems over there with flies?
Just minor.
Did you bring these flies with you, or are they imported or local?
This is the professional solution to camping on the Hoab River.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
How sad. How long will this guy last with a broken leg?
Well, that mountain certainly does look burnt.
The map shows a marshy area along this river. We will need to find a way through to the other side if we intend to follow it to the coast.
From a rhino that they use it as a scratching rock, and then it comes out so polished.
At some point, we give up on the marsh and cross up and over the ridge to meet the river further to the west. At some point, we find a shaded depression in a ridge that provides the day's only shade.
How's lunch?
It's over 48 degrees in the sun. That's 118 degrees Fahrenheit. So we take full advantage of the shade. It's time to continue our drive along the dry riverbed in search of rhinos. Our map shows a waterhole and a set of hides to the west. A hide is a structure from which you can hide from the observed animals. There's no water here, and the only wildlife are vultures.
Nice hides. Hey, it's even got a little storage area for a refrigerator. Last guest was here February 20th. Rhino sighting at, going back,
That's where we saw it last time as well.
Burnt Mountain.
Time to move on.
That way. So, pick a bowling ball, I guess. This is for lawn bowling?
All we're lacking is the lawn. Another dry riverbed camp.
We go to the coast, so it'll be rather chilly. We will see some sea lions today. How about that?
Lions? I don't want anything to do with lions.
Sea lions.
No more lions, though. This time, let's look for sea lions.
Tom even shows the river. Amazing.
Zigzagging.
We spot a hyena. With the steep valley walls, it only has one way to go. Ahead of us, so we keep running into him.
Let's check out the tracks. It looks like elephant being followed by our friendly hyena we saw this morning. This one.
Brown hyena. Big elephant. Check this out.
Finding elephants in this dry riverbed would be interesting, but also a bit scary. If we encounter them in this narrow area, they will have only two options: confront us or keep moving ahead of us like the hyena.
Uh-oh. Fresh elephant poo-poo. Uh-oh. Fresh elephant poo-poo.
We've been driving in the dry riverbed for days and just encountered wet elephant poo. I wonder what that might mean. Ben decides to build a road. The GPS shows a riverbed junction up ahead.
Woohoo, we made it! There's the river. And we're in.
We've joined the main dry river that leads to the coast. And sure enough, we had discovered the owners of the wet elephant poo that we had spotted earlier in the day. Seems like very poor quality elephant food to me. After watching these guys standing still for a while, we set off for the rhino camp marked on our map. That must be the rhino. Ben has an aversion to the main road.
Another shortcut. The Messam River to the ocean.
But then again, the riverbed is actually better than the road. But don't break down out here because there's no automobile club. And after 24 days of driving, we spotted the Atlantic Ocean. But even here the land is harsh and aptly named the Skeleton Coast. We had started this road trip in Arusha, Tanzania, driven to the Indian Ocean, and then zigzagged across Tanzania, Malawi, Zambia, and Namibia. 24 days later, we had reached the Atlantic Ocean. We had traveled over 2,000 kilometers from ocean to ocean. After 24 days of driving from Tanzania to reach Namibia, we took some time out to have a beach picnic. We then dug out the car and set off along the coast. In 1486, the Portuguese explorer Caio landed at this spot.
This is a $200 bill. Oh, wait a minute. This is 200 Namibian dollars. No wonder. Cool. And where's the queen? There's no queen on this money. There's animals and a cowboy.
Cape Cross is one of the natural sea lion mating areas along the Namibian coast. Mom? Oh wait, you're not my mom. How do they tell each other apart? One of the many shipwrecks along the coast, Ben decides to do some bartering, this time for rocks.
Real thing, it's polo. Change the last one.
Near Swakopmund, Ben decides to drive in the world-famous Namibian sand dunes. While he plays like a little boy in the sand, I sit, drink cold Pepsi, and contemplate the landscape. He's stuck again. Uh-oh, that sounded like the 5th gear blowing out.
Don't go into the desert with one car.
Ben managed to get the car going, but we were now without a 5th gear. Ben is playing in the sand again, but this time without the car. He certainly is persistent.
Why does he park on the train tracks?
Moved it just in time. That day we finally made it back to civilization. But the next day we were off again. Ben was running out of time. He only had a few more days before his flight from Windhoek. But first we needed to visit the Spitzkoppe Mountains. At the campground reception we were told to camp anywhere, and so we did.
Well, what's today's plan?
Yeah, check it out here. Go around. There's a nice trek going around. There's some petroglyphs here as well. Amazing rock formations, round rocks sitting on top of those.
We spent the morning exploring before breaking camp and heading east. A roadside trinket stall caught our attention. We decided to trade away the rest of our used clothing, small change, and food. It broke my heart to see these kids sitting here in the sun all day. How many cars can possibly pass this desolate spot in a day?
Hey, come here.
And yet the kids were happy and full of life.
Say thank you.
They were so polite. Windhoek is a clean and modern city, so far removed from the dusty kids we met this morning. We had driven across southern Africa, and meeting those kids this morning was the highlight of my trip. And if I could take them all home to be fed and educated, I would. Maybe they were better off here. Who knows?
Cardboard box.
Made it.
All that way just to go to a cardboard box?
Damn, you mean we're gonna sleep in a box? Forget it, I'm going back.
The end of the road trip. What a crazy trip. I started out trekking in Kenya and then joined Ben in Arusha, Tanzania. We drove his old Toyota Land Cruiser across Tanzania, Malawi, Zambia, and Namibia. We saw so much. We experienced even more. And we met wonderful people. It was an adventure of a lifetime. But I wasn't done yet. Ben flew back to Germany and I hopped on a bus for Cape Town, South Africa. Let the adventure continue.